welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this really thick, intense, highly moisturizing hand, face, body cream using only 3 ingredients. It is really excellent for gardeners, anyone that works with their hands, or just anybody that suffers from intensely dry skin. So stay tuned and I will show you how to make it. Alrighty, so someone had sent me a message on Facebook and asked me if I could show them how to make a cream for severely dry, cracked hands. They work in the garden a lot and their hands give them fits. So yes, I can. And I prefer creams over lotions because lotions do contain a lot of water. That's what gives them their thin consistencies. They contain mostly water. And anytime that you make any type of body product that contains water, you're setting yourself up to be introduced to bacteria and mold and all that unless you use a preservative. And if you're making all natural products, stay away from the preservatives. You can add vitamin E oil. And yes, vitamin E is an antioxidant and it will help to prolong the shelf life of your product, but it will not keep out all the nasties that water brings in completely. So this recipe here is a really, really good, intense cream that you can use anywhere on your body. I use it on my face and under my eyes at nighttime, and it contains no water. So if you want to put vitamin E oil in this, you can. You don't have to. So to get started, what you need is half a cup of a liquid oil. And I like to use organic olive oil. You can use grapeseed oil, almond oil, whatever type of oil you want. Just use 1/2 cup. Let's pour this out. Come on. Okay, so there's your half a cup of liquid oil. Now you need to add 1/4 cup of these little beeswax pellets. I like to use the pellets because they're a lot easier to measure out than like a big block of beeswax, because true beeswax in its raw form is very, very hard to cut. These little pellets are just so easy to scoop out, and I'll put a link down below. Look in the comments. I'll pin a comment with the link to where you can get all this stuff. So you have half a cup of liquid oil, 1/4 cup of beeswax, and now we're going to add in 1/4 cup of coconut oil. This is an 1/8 cup measuring doohickey, so we're going to do 2 of these. And as you can see back here, I have a pot of water boiling. That's because I'm just going to set this measuring cup down into that water where all of my ingredients can melt gently. If you want to put it on the stove top, you can. Please don't put it in the microwave, because the microwave kills any type of beneficial anything, and the beneficial constituents in anything that you make. So this is my favorite way of doing it. Now that is your basic cream. Half a cup of liquid oil, a 1/4 of a cup of coconut oil, 1/4 of a cup of beeswax. This right here is completely optional, but I do highly recommend it. This is shea butter. I buy my shea butter in blocks. You can add in about 2 tablespoons of shea butter to this. You'll get some wonderful, wonderful moisturizing properties. So I'm just going to drop, that should be about 2 tablespoons worth. What y'all think? And if you're making this to sell, I highly suggest that you wear gloves. I have a box of vinyl gloves. I try to stay away from latex because I know there's a lot of people out there that have latex allergies. So I use vinyl gloves. Now what you want to do is just take your measuring cup here, and I'm going to try to scoot this over closer to me without the steam fogging up my camera here. I'm going to turn this down to low because you really don't want this water to be at a full rolling boil. You want it to kind of simmer because you don't want the water to splash into your oils here, because like I said, the water is going to set you up for some bacteria. I'm just going to set that down in there and try to scoot it a little bit and just stir until everything is all nice and melted and combined. This is such a really simple recipe because everything here is like oil or wax based. So everything is going to combine really well. When you're making lotion, and I can do that later if y'all want to see that. When you're making lotion, you have to combine oil and water. We all know that oil and water does not like to mix, but it will if it is emulsified, and you have to have like a specific temperature for that, and it can be so tricky to get the oil and the water to come together. So I prefer creams. They're pretty much no fail, and you can, once this is melted and you put it into your container, you can just leave it as is, and it will be a sort of a firm cream. Or you can use a hand mixer or an immersion blender, whatever you have, and you can whip it up to make it lighter and fluffier. So you can do whatever you want with that. So I'm going to let all this melt, and then I'll take it out of the water, and I'll show you, like how to get it to cool down, what it looks like once it's cooled, and the containers that I like to use. So here we go. Everything has all been melted together. And now what I'm going to do is, because this measuring cup is very hot, so it's going to take forever for this stuff to cool down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour it into a Pyrex bowl over here so it can cool down a lot more quickly, and then I can put it into my containers. So I'm just going to pour that in here, like so. And then I like to just stir it. See, it's already starting to set up once I poured it into the cooler container. Stir it with a fork. I would say to use a whisk, but you don't want this stuff all goopied up on your whisk. It'll be a whole lot harder to take off. So I'm just going to use a fork and just keep stirring it until it's cooled down, and then you have a nice thick cream. Okay, I want to move this out of the way while I'm stirring. Now the containers that I use, I really like to use these little sealing jars like this. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It was like $2.99. I got it at Hobby Lobby. I like them. I'm going to stop stirring for a minute so I can fix this. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, see? And then it has this little lock, and it keeps out water, air, germs. It keeps it all out. So I really, really like these. So I don't know if Walmart has these or not. Hobby Lobby has them. I know I've seen them at Michael's. You can order them online, I'm sure, from Amazon. I'll take a look on Amazon, and I'll see if I can find some. And if I find them on there, I'll put a link down below. But, they're kind of heavy, so maybe with shipping, unless you have Amazon Prime or something, the shipping may not be worth ordering it, but I'll look some up for y'all. But once this has cooled down into a solid form, I'm just going to scoop it into my containers. I have a handful over here because this recipe right here makes roughly 8 ounces. And if you whip it up, of course, it's going to have more air in it, and it'll take up more space. And I believe this is a 4-ounce container. It looks like a 4-ounce container. So I'm going to have to go find some more here in a minute. But I want to get done whipping this up, stirring it, whatever, and I'll come back and I'll show y'all what it looks like. Okay, so here is what we've gotten so far, and yeah, it's sort of semi-soft, and it will firm up just a little bit more than this, and it will make a nice cream. And like I said a while ago, you can whip it good with something to kind of fluffy it up a little bit. I like my Hamilton Beach handheld blender thingy. The attachments on the end comes off. Like I said, this is a whisk, and this is just a little bit more aggravating to clean, but you can just soak your whisk in some hot water if you want. You just whisk it a little bit. And just scrape down the side of the bowl. And as it cools down even further, you'll be able to make it even more fluffy and whip it up a little bit better. But this is what we have so far. I'm going to touch it. Yeah, it's still a little bit warm. So once it has cooled, and you can even put this in the refrigerator to make it cool down even faster. And once it's cold, then whisk it a little bit, and it'll get a little bit more fluffy. But it's not going to be like one of those whipped body butters. That's not what this is going to do. It'll just get a little bit fluffier. So there we go. There's your cream. I'm just going to set this to the side. And you just scoop it out with a spoon or a little silicone spatula here, scraper thingy, whatever this is, and put it into your containers. If you want to add some scent to it, you can use some essential oil, a few drops of lavender or whatever scent you like. So, if you would, please give me a thumbs up on this one. Click subscribe. Check me out on other forms of social media, the links to all of which will be in the description box down below. And I hope to see y'all next time. Bye-bye.